This Mission 176 at the Glen Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACE SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. And due to the fog of war that I'm currently in, I made an executive decision in which today's episode, and actually today and tomorrow, because we're supposed to do Trucks and Xfinity today, right? Like we traditionally do when there's both series on there. However, today I just went about my business as if there was no Truck Series ever, right? I was like, hum-de-dum.
Yeah, it's not hard to blame you, Rod. The trucks haven't been around for 3 months.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I got into my rhythm of not doing the trucks right away, and I was like, okay, Xfinity Series episode, all set and ready. And then Cody gives me a text that says, hey, there's trucks this weekend, right? And I was like, well, shit.
Rod sends over the doc, and it's just the Xfinity on the sheet, which sometimes we don't completely update all the info at the top. So, like, I'm looking down, I'm like, he's only got Xfinity picks in here. So then I go over to the YouTube and I'm like, he's only got Xfinity on the YouTube thing. So I was like, I don't think he knows that there's trucks this week. But then the book sort of forced our hands because, Xfinity, like now, right before we got on here, finally positional, like there was no top fives. There was a few head-to-heads, but not many. Like there wasn't much out, but there was more stuff for the trucks. Kind of works out. And it's an early truck race this week. It's a 5 o'clock Eastern time truck race. That's 2 o'clock Friday afternoon on the West Coast for you guys out there, Rod. So I think it is good to talk about the trucks ahead of time. And when we get to the entry list in a second, you're going to think it's a cup race and not a truck race anyways.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's why I felt like it was okay to do this time. We'll still do a DFS picks, but won't be an episode. It'll just be, check YouTube for shorts or something like that for DFS this week. So I apologize to all the DFS folks out there who want a full episode. But because the Truck Series is so packed, because the Xfinity Series is kind of packed as well, figure it deserves its own episode again this week, kind of like the old days. And we'll throw it back to the good old days of it. And by the way, bearing the lead, we are at Watkins Glen. We are back on a road course in which, Cody, the trucks have only done one, and I'm going to heavily quote this, road race this season. I still don't consider Lime Rock an actual road race. However, Yeah.
Well, really, if you go back to I went back to 2023 on a couple of these guys when I was looking. We only got 4 road courses. Again, in light quotes, Lime Rock is one of those to look at. There's not been a lot of road racing for the Truck Series the last couple of years. They went away. Truck races got out of hand on road courses because we were going to a few for a while and they got out of hand.
It was Portland, wasn't it, a couple of years ago where it was just they could not get through it?
Mid-Ohio, I think, was the one, where it was like 18 overtimes. That was the Moyle-Sack race. There was a lot of things going on in that one, but it was rough.
Yeah. And so now the trucks are allowed. They're allowed back onto a road course after a very long time. Obviously, Sonoma, they got taken off the schedule. Lots of places they were just, hey, the trucks, let's just, you know what? It's okay, guys. We'll just give you a week off. You can come back and play with us in a little while. But so they're back on the road course, and it's Watkins Glen, which they haven't been on. God, and I knew this like 5 seconds ago, but it's been like since 2019 or something like that. 2021 is the last time they've been on this track, and it's been 4 years for them. So a lot of these drivers. Okay, I won't make the joke. I was going to make the joke, but I won't make the joke. A lot of these drivers
weren't even born, Rob.
Have not participated in a Watkins Glen race yet. Yes, weren't even born. Yes, Grandpa. When this race was run last year.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to go back, I think, and really look at that being so long ago. In this series in particular, so many things change, teams and drivers, and what drivers even could you go back and look at that were on their current teams? Matt Crafton, Stuart Friesen's not in this race. Ben Rhodes probably was been in the 99 then. I mean, other than that, I can't really think of anybody who's been in their specific truck that long. I mean, guys like Grant Enfinger would have raced it, but that was 4 teams ago for him. He was probably at ThorSport at that time, a long time ago. I mean, yeah, so pretty hard to, I think, go back and look at that race anyways.
Indeed. You know, it's hard not to go back and look at all 32 team previews from the Sports Gambling Podcast. They are back with those previews, and they're also bringing back the phrase that pays, and this is why you got to go back and listen to all 32, especially once they come out, because each episode they're going to give out one word of a 32-word phrase. You submit that phrase, you get a chance to win a $1,000 Circa Future, and who could not use a $1,000 Circa Future?
And look, if you're an NFL fan, like, go listen. If you want to be entertained and you like to bet on sports, those are probably the 2 reasons you're listening to this show, right? If you like the NFL, go listen to Sean and Ryan. Absolutely. That's my favorite series they do every year, is going through all 32 teams. They bring on a fan of the team for most of the teams. There's a couple where nobody cares about the teams, so they don't really bring them on, but just kidding. I think they've got guests for every show, I believe, this year, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, and then of course you get in on the phrase that pays, and $1,000 Circa Future. Yeah, you got to build a wild parlay with that to go cash in person, right? So
let's go.
Hell yeah,
good stuff. All right, checking with the chat real quick before we start to break everything down. Marcus is saying hello to us as he does every show. Hi, Marcus. Who's everyone's pick to win? Well, Marcus has 2 chances this week as he predicts Christopher Bell is going to win the truck and cup race at Watkins Glen, and we'll talk about him in just a second.
We will talk about him.
JDK, afternoon. Man, JDK and Rowdy and Shandy keep that Discord popping 24 hours a day. So,
yes. Yes, they definitely do.
Absolutely. Listening to Dale Jr., Sam says, go off around the 41-minute mark of his podcast, has him giddy. I have to listen to that.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what he was going off this time. Oh, he went off on the car. He went off on the single lug nut thing. He went off on how it's not a stock car. It was a pretty great rant for his Tuesday podcast, so definitely go check it out. Right, and then I noticed he had Santonio Ferrucci on today for his Dale Jr. download. So, yeah, that's I haven't had a chance to listen yet, but should be a good one.
Little IndyCar action going. Yeah, Jess, I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, again, absence makes the heart grow fonder, or sometimes absence makes you forget that it's even around. Jess was saying, what are you thinking, Rod? Of course, there's the trucks, and good afternoon, by the way. So, yeah, listen, man, it's definitely an exciting time because all 3 series are in action, and we have stuff to bet on. And yeah, that's what we're here to do. Set up this mission 176 at the Glen, set for 72 laps around this. Oh, wait, hold on. What?
I did get roped into arguing with them yesterday, and that's always a bad idea. But I was roped in on the Discord. By the way, shout out to Sam Smith. See him over there in the chat. I think you could probably head over to the WNBA podcast if you want. Talk about the odds on that other stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot. What a time to be alive, he says, and that is absolutely correct. But it is a time to be alive because we have truck racing at Watkins Glen for the first time in a long time. 72 laps around this 2.450 mile track for 176.4 miles in the Watkins Glen International in Dix, New York, which, by the way, is
Thank you.
apropos to what is being gone in the chat right now as well. But yeah, listen, exciting stuff. And, Cody, like you just said earlier, there are several drivers of note in this entry list because it's the last chance for anybody else but truck drivers to run a truck race.
Yeah. Yeah, there is only 2 truck races remaining in the regular season this week at Watkins Glen. The trucks are actually back next week as well, Rod, so don't forget about that. As I make him choke on his drink, actually, it will be a solo truck show next week because Xfinity has the week off for Richmond. So that's exciting. But Richmond next week is the regular season finale, so Cup drivers, Xfinity full-time drivers will not be allowed to race in the truck series the rest of the year. Of course, that's when Corey LaJoie is going to come take over the truck for Spire and run all that stuff. So, any of the full-time running for points in Xfinity and Cup won't be allowed to race in the truck race as they round out their season with those final 8 races. So everybody is entering this race instead, Rod. Surprisingly, only 36 entries, despite all the names on this list. So everybody will make the race. But William Sawalich is back. He's going to be in the 02 truck, or in the 1 truck, rather. Used to be something I was excited for, but as you know, Rod, off of the famed William Sawalich train, and that was a good choice last week at Iowa. Would not have worked out if you were on it. Sorry, Sour D. But yeah, it's off the Sawalich train for now. The 02 car is going to be Caden Honeycutt. Of course, as we know, he is now signed, which is sort of funny because this is actually a Chevy truck that he's found his way into. But he'll be taking over the 52 truck for Stuart Friesen next week, of course, with Stuart being out with that injury. He's going to run the 52 truck the rest of the year and has a deal with Toyota for next year. Rumor, assumption, Tricon. Some talk about it being the 11 truck. We'll have to break all that down more at another point in time. The GOAT of the truck series is back, Rod. We're going to give him the F in the truck series. Kyle fucking Busch is back in the 07 truck. He's running for Spire Motorsports alongside Sammy Smith, who's going to be in the 7 truck for Spire Motorsports as well. Ross Chastain, the Watermelon Man, he's back in the 44 car truck, rather, for Nice Motorsports. They fired Caden Honeycutt and decided to bring in some guy named Connor Zilisch to drive that 45 truck this week. So he's going to fill in the 45 truck before Bailey Curry takes over for the rest of the season. Christopher Bell is filling in for the injured Stuart Friesen this week in the 52 truck. Of course, to Marcus's delight, we are not yet done with Cup guys, Rod. Chris Buescher. This might be a surprising fact for you. Chris Buescher making his first career truck series start. Shocking as that may be, especially coming up through the Roush pipeline. I don't remember when they got rid of that 99 truck, but I felt like he would have been in it at some point. But he has never made a Craftsman Truck Series start. So first ever start for Chris Buescher. He'll be in the 66 truck for Thor Sport. Of course, kind of notable with him, he is on the bubble, very much so in the Cup Series right now. He won at Watkins Glen last year. They say the trucks are more relatable to the Cup Series car. Trying to get him extra laps, extra time, prepping for Sunday to go all out and try to punch his playoff ticket there. So interesting. Brent Cruz is going to be driving the number 70 truck. Of course, this is the Brent Cruz racing truck that is owned by but not owned by all the young kids in the garage and isn't owned by Brent Cruz because he's not old enough to own a truck team. So it's in his stepfather's name. Okay, that's a lot of stuff going on there, but he is in that 70 truck. And Parker Kligerman returns. Charlie Henderson unfortunately passed away a few weeks ago, but his team, Henderson Motorsports, is back up and running, and they have brought back Parker Kligerman in that 75 truck. I've said it a million times, and I'm going to say it again today. Kligerman always a threat when he runs that 75 truck. So excited to talk about that. So a loaded, this is why we had to do a solo truck episode, and why we have to do a solo Xfinity truck, because half the episode is just reading off the entry list, because tomorrow will be no different with the Xfinity Series. The entry list is just as long when it comes to non-regulars.
Yeah, it's seriously. And to me, this is when they just kind of dump everything into it, because you're right. It's the last one, and TK's surprised that SVG didn't get into a truck. I don't know. That's a lot. That's a huge difference, though.
Yeah, but saying they don't want to take away from Cup, but he's running Xfinity, which is much less likely the Cup car. So we'll be talking about him tomorrow, I'm sure. Because he is in the Xfinity race. But I think all that stuff was kind of just scheduled out ahead. And does he need the extra time in a truck to be good here, TK? No, he doesn't. Because as we talked about yesterday, he's going to wipe the floor with everybody on Sunday. Yeah,
it's not even going to be close. So there's just a chance for him to get hurt, I guess. I don't know. It could happen. You just don't want to take that chance when you're dealing with a guy.
Don't you put that evil on him, Ricky Bobby?
That's why he's not in the truck series, because I guarantee you there's a lot more squirrels in there to get cracked on. So, all right, yes, a definitely packed and fun to talk about and fun to break down, and we will do exactly that. But first, let's step away for a quick second and tell you about our friends over at Underdog. Underdog is the best place to play Best Ball Mania. It's happening all summer long. They're giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. There's no waiver wire. There's no arguments about trades. Best Ball, literally the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog is also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Gave you this entry the other day. All Pro Motocross is out there on Underdog. How about Jet Lawrence on the R99 Ironman Raceway? This is happening Saturday. His finishing position set at 1.5, but I just implore you, go pull up. First of all, it's a cool name, Jet Lawrence. Pull up Jet Lawrence's accomplishments this season. The number 1 comes up a lot in his resume, so you might want to take the better than 1.5 in his finishing position this Saturday. Don't look back and just stack the multipliers on top of that. Sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. You're going to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. How about MyBookie.ag? We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and, of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts a ton of customers from all kinds of locations, even yours. Easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. Told you the other day, I'm telling you now again, my Ottawa Red Blacks are back, baby. Now they're 3.5-point underdogs to the Toronto Argonauts. This is at -110. Give me Ottawa plus 3.5. I don't even care. What's the Grey Cup future at? Hold on. I'm gonna scroll here real quick and see what the Grey Cup future is for the Ottawa Red Blacks. They're not going to give it to me, are they? Oh, here we go. Grey Cup outright winner, Ottawa Red Blacks, 38-1. Lock that one down too. I'm just kidding. I mean, you can, but I'm a little hopeful here. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code RACE, or SGPN rather, for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. It's only funny when it doesn't cash, I guess. And then it's only funny when it cashes. I don't know. It'd be fun for Ottawa to win a Grey Cup. They haven't done it in a while, and I'd love to watch it.
I was going to say, they're like the Buffalo Bills, but they've actually never won. So
yeah, I was going to say, no. Ottawa's at least won one. One as the Red Blacks, but all right. Yeah, I think it's time, right? I feel like it's time to start breaking down this Mission 176 Craftsman Series truck race from Watkins Glen International in Dix, New York. Cody, we've gone over the entry list, and already a couple of names are going to pop up on our sheets here.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't that hard to put together a full card, so glad we got a solo show for this because I'm excited. Well, Rod, I had originally put in here Tyler Ankrum over Grant Enfinger, -115 on Caesars. I was like, I'm taking a book on a Rod's page. Ankrum's been really good this season. Enfinger, he's fine, right? Then I started researching it, and I quickly changed my mind. Give me Grant Enfinger over Tyler Ankrum. And honestly, this isn't really that close in my opinion. So if you go back and you look, well documented beginning of the season, you are on Ankrum, right? Tearing it up. Daytona was rough, but 3rd at Atlanta, 10th at Vegas, 4th at Miami, 2nd at Martinsville, 4th at Bristol, 1st at Rockingham, 4th at Texas, 3rd at North Wilkesboro, like just on fire. Well, he's kind of cooled off since then. 16th at Kansas, 12th at Charlotte, 17th at Nashville, 24th at Michigan, 26th at Pocono, 10th at Lime Rock, and 8th at Indy. Okay, but when you look at his counterpart, Grant Enfinger, who we're taking in this matchup, 4th last week at IRP to Ankrum's 8th. 11th at Lime Rock to Ankrum's 10th. So Ankrum got him by one spot on the quote-unquote road course we've been to. But 17th to 26th at Pocono for Enfinger, 2nd to 24th at Michigan, 5th to 17th at Nashville, 6th to 12th at Charlotte. Now, North Wilkesboro was the 3rd for Ankrum and 5th for Finger. So, again, within 2 spots of them. But Kansas, 9th to 16th. So, Finger has been, as TK points out, Finger has been solid lately. He really has been solid. And it's been, look, 4th, 11th, 17th, 2nd, 5th, 6th, 5th, 9th. Whereas on the other hand, with Ankrum, it's 8th, 10th, 26th, 24th, 17, 12, 3, 16. Just much less consistent. Then you go back and you look at what have you done on these. I just took the 4 road course sample size here over the last 3 years, really, 23, 24, and this year. 10th at Lime Rock for Ankrum, 11th for Finger, so close. Coda last year, though, 25th for Ankrum, 12th place for Grant Enfinger, so much better. 10th at Mid-Ohio for Ankrum in 23, so 1 spot better than the 11th for Grant Enfinger again. And then 4th at Coda for Ankrum and 12th at Coda in 23 for Enfinger. So even though Ankrum actually has 3 of the 4 better thans, 2 of those are only by 1 spot, and he's got that 25th place finish in there, whereas Enfinger, all 12th place are better. So I am going to go with Grant Enfinger in this one. He's got the momentum coming into this race, which I think is probably the most important thing. But then you add in, they're at least been close on the road courses over the last couple of years. So give me Grant Enfinger over Tyler Ankrum, minus 115, and that one's over on Caesars.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I was banging the drum all at the beginning of the season for Tyler Ankrum, and there's a reason why I haven't, not just the fact that there haven't been truck races over the last several weeks, but yeah, there's a reason why I haven't necessarily been bringing him up quite as much, is because that momentum that he was riding at the beginning of the season is gone, and it's very difficult to keep it going, especially when we see guys in the field that are heavy hitters, right? And Ankrum, as much as he's good in the truck series now, when you start to layer in the Zilisches of there, the Christopher Bells, the Christopher Buschers, like that's just too many names to swing back through. And I know that he's good, but Enfinger he's not scared by those guys. He's raced against those guys before, and he's just not, it doesn't faze him. And he's actually the one on the upswing as well. So I like that pick, even though it pains me to say it. I'll back you on that, even though it's Ankrum and my favorite driver that's not really my favorite driver. But all right, speaking of Bell and Buescher, it's the battle of the Chris's in this head-to-head. And this one, I believe I got it off of ESPN. I didn't write it down. But Bell over Buescher, and Bell is on the minus 120 side of this matchup. Cody, you said it on the outset of the show. Chris Buescher making his very first truck series start. I found that very hard to believe. I was trying to go back through his career statistics in the truck series, and there weren't any. And I was like, something's wrong. But no, he's never made a start in the truck series before. I understand, and I fully appreciate the talent of Chris Buescher, and I fully appreciate the talent of a ThorSport truck, right? However, that ThorSport stable is so heavy that it's not as if he's getting the best ThorSport truck out there, right? I mean, you could say with these Nice trucks, you can say with some of the Spires trucks, like they will be able to put more resources into a truck for Kyle Busch this week than Thor will for the 66, right? The 66 is out there to run, to give Chris Buescher some seat time. That's fine. To give them another opportunity to slap a sponsor on, that's fine. But I'm not sure, if you're making your very first truck start, how competitive you can actually be with all of these guys in here. If this was just Chris Buescher coming down, by himself, okay, that's fine. Like I may be looking at a top 5 for him, I may be whatever. But there's so many experienced drivers here, not the least of which is Christopher Bell, who at the very least has run a couple of truck series races in the past couple of years. Last year, he ran 1, finished inside of the top 5 in that one. The year before that, in 2023, he ran 2 truck series races, finished in the top 5 in one of those. Were any of those road courses? No. But it's Chris Bell, right? We know that he is good at road courses. We know that he is a cardboard on the track kind of a guy that would love nothing more than to win via cardboard. Sorry, Cody, I didn't mean to twist that knife a little bit. But no, Christopher Bell has truck experience. He's sat in that seat. And if you're telling me that 52 truck, we know that Stuart Friesen was starting to wheel it with a little bit of greatness over the last few weeks, right? That win at Michigan, the 8th at Pocono. Didn't have a good day at Lime Rock. He finished 22nd in that one. And then, of course, IRP ended up 35th. But he did start pretty bad in that one as well. Led 20 laps, though, did Stuart Friesen. But 2nd at Atlanta for him, 6th at Vegas, 9th at Martinsville, 5th at Kansas. Some solid finishes for the 52 truck. And we know that 52 truck is good. And we know, Cody, that the 52 truck is going to get all of the attention from their team this week, right? As opposed to the 20th ThorSport truck out there when you've got guys like Rhodes, when you've got guys like Crafton out there driving your truck, the headliners of the garage, right? So I like Christopher Bell. I like him better than Chris Buescher. Marcus, that should make you happy.
You had me until you put out that Crafton and Rhodes are the headliners on the road courses, Rod. But but yeah, this is a tough matchup. It is Buescher's first career start in the trucks. It's also Bell's first career start in the trucks on a road course. I will point that out. He has raced trucks before. Buescher's going to be fine, right? We talk about him. He's a top 10 machine in the Cup Series. He won here last year in the Cup Series. Beat SVG to do it. I don't have any bets on Buescher. I couldn't find a way I like to get in on him, but I do like Christopher Bell, and I like Christopher Bell to the tune of a top 5 at even money. And hopefully you're in the Discord, Rod. And last night it was pointed out over in the Discord, if you're in Canada, that Christopher Bell's top 3 was 25-1. Then this morning, 2 American books, Hard Rock and Fanatics, both had him 25-1 for top 3. So I really hope you're in the Discord. I really hope you got those bets placed like our buddy JDK did. Shout out to him for pointing it out in the first place. But those numbers no longer exist. It's now plus 260, I think, where they initially meant to put it. But I'm going to take his top 5, even at even money, although it's not as sexy as that was. Yes, it's his first truck start. Yes, it's a loaded field. But Christopher Bell is great at road courses. And we don't have any truck races to look back on for road courses. But what's he done in the Cup Series? Well, he was 5th at Sonoma. He was 2nd at Mexico City. He won at Coda. So those are your 3 Cup Series road courses this year. This isn't the Cup field. It's Cup light because there's a lot of Cup guys in it. But he's been getting top 5s all year in the 3 attempts. Now, Chicago, if you want to throw that in there, again, I don't really consider that a road course. 24th there, rough day. But go back to last year, 2nd at the Roval. He was 14th here at Watkins Glen, but I believe he was caught up in that first lap melee, got some damage and salvaged that finish. 9th at Sonoma last year, 2nd at Coda. He had a 3rd place finish at the Cup race here in 2023. Of course, he won in 2022 at the Charlotte Roval. When Chase Elliott should have won, he'd have a win in the next gen car. Wouldn't have to hear all that shit about it. He doesn't have wins at road courses. Whatever. That's you had to bring it up, Rod. Appreciate it. But Christopher Bell, Connor Zilisch is in this field. We're going to talk about that in a bit, right? He is a massive, heavy favorite in this race. But it doesn't matter what Connor Zilisch does. If he goes out and wins this race like he's supposed to, fine. All Christopher Bell has to do is finish in the top 5, and it's even money. I don't fully understand that. And where we're at currently in the truck series for regulars, a guy like Zane Smith, who dominated when we actually had road courses back in the day, is gone. Yes, you've got Corey Heim in here, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But outside of that, do we really have any regular guys who are road course aces? Well, we wouldn't really know because we don't ever go to them. But we don't have a ton of guys who are super experienced on them. So Christopher Bell jumping in a truck, most similar to the Cup cars, as we've said, right? I think it's going to be fine for him to go to a top 5 at even money. So give me C. Bell, just for you, Marcus. Top 5 over at even money.
Yeah, and honestly, too, like you said, I think the inexperience of most of these truck drivers on road courses is going to play into the hands of the more veteran Cup drivers, Xfinity drivers, all these guys that are jumping down. And, it's just a matter of which ones of them can hang on for good finishes, and then which one of the Cup or the Truck Series regulars rather can I guess compete, right? Because like you said, we haven't seen it very often with these road course races for Truck Series, and when we did, it was always just calamity, and it was always just a bunch of craziness that happened because these guys felt like they couldn't really, I guess, behave themselves. I don't know. It's crazy, but I do like the Christopher Bell top 5 angle. I know it's not as much as you want it to be, but I still think if it's going to cash, it's going to cash.
That is the one thing I will toss in here, and I guess some of my next plays will kind of account for that, and you've got some too that will kind of account for that. But truck races in general on road courses have turned into complete shit shows. Now, I think you're going to see the Zilisches, the Bells, the Bushes, the Bushers of the world be ahead of the chaos, probably. And they did move the restart zone back so that turn one shouldn't be so crazy. But we could get some crazy shit in the truck race because, that's how the trucks work sometimes.
That's how the trucks roll, my friend. All right, I am going to go over to another head-to-head. I definitely liked this one, especially at plus money. How about Lane Riggs over Ross Chastain? Ross Chastain was coming in at like -1, so I'm like -145 or something like that to win this head-to-head. But Riggs over Chastain, not Ross over Chastain. Lane Riggs over Ross Chastain, plus 160 over on Bet365. I understand that it's Ross Chastain. I understand that it's that 44 truck, and I fully understand that he has 3 top 10 finishes this season in 4 of the outings that he's been in. The only one that he did not finish was Michigan, and that was a DVP problem, so he, obviously didn't get to finish that race. He did finish 26th, but even still, right, if you look at the head-to-head matchups so far in where Lane Riggs and Chastain have been on the same racetrack in the same race, Homestead, Ross Chastain finished 6th. Great finish for Ross Chastain. But Lane Riggs finished in 2nd place in that particular race. Charlotte, all right, Ross Chastain got him there. He finished runner-up in that race. But Lane Riggs, 4th, right? Just a couple of spots right behind him. Obviously, Michigan we talked about. Ross didn't even get to finish, but Lane finished 10th. And then this last race at IRP, right? Ross Chastain, another solid top 10 effort. Guess what? Lane Riggs won that race. It's just a matter of this full-time regular, right? Lane Riggs chasing down a championship. Ross gets in. He's here to have some seat time. He's here to have a little bit of fun. He's there to be able to race trucks because he likes racing trucks, and he says that every single time. He likes going out for Nice, and he likes racing these trucks. But Lane Riggs, man, this is business for Lane Riggs, right? He's already pissed off everybody being Lane Riggs, and he's going to go out and continue to try to do that. So for me, this is more, like I said, an instance of I'm taking the series regular versus a really good, and let's not call it the way it isn't. It's obviously a really good truck driver when he gets down in the trucks. But Lane Riggs has a lot more to go for right now and more to drive for than does Ross Chastain in this one. Road courses, Lane has only been on 2 in his entire career. Average start of 5.5, average finish of 20. But again, that doesn't necessarily tell the entire story. And in Lime Rock, he didn't have a very good finish either. He finished 13th after starting 3rd and leading a lap. So he'll bounce back. He's Lane Riggs. 13th is not that terrible on a road course. I think he'll be able to navigate his way and finish, even if it's two spots better than Ross Chastain.
This one is an interesting one. I like the fact that you're getting, the 1B to Corey Heim's 1A for truck regulars at plus 160 against somebody not named Corey Heim. I like that. It is Ross Chastain, who's been good previously in the Cup Series, although lately he's not been good at all. He's got really mixed results in the Truck Series, though. It's not like he comes down to the trucks and he's always good. Like, he's got some 5th place, 6th place, and 27th, 28th place finishes. Like, it's all over the place. Riggs very limited in the road course racing starts. That counts against him. But at plus 160, I don't think that, of all these Cup guys in here, Chastain, the one I'm the least worried about, honestly. Like, that. I think that is the case. I am the least worried about Chastain. So, I do not mind this at all.
And it's not as if, so at some point in this race, Chastain's going to be battling for a solid, maybe top 5, maybe top 3. He may even lead this race because of the way stages break down and people flipping stages and stuff like that. But I don't see him as a serious contender to win right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the 2nd place that he had at Charlotte, it just didn't. I don't know. To me, Lane Riggs, he's going to be in contention to win. Ross Chastain, I can't say the same about it. So I like especially the plus money side of this as well. They're favoring Ross Chastain a little too much, in my opinion. So, all right, we're going to get down with the rest of our card. But first, I would like to tell you about our friends over at Circa. It's the world's greatest sports book, Circa Las Vegas. They're hosting the world's biggest pro football contests, Circa Millions, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo. There's over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You can't even call yourself a true DGen, though, if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. Come hang out with the SGPN at Circa Contest Weekend, August 21st through the 23rd for an amazing weekend, including live shows and, of course, open bars. Plus, you get 15% off of a stay at the Circa with promo code SGP15. Contests are open to everybody. Sign up in Nevada and play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com. Use promo code SGP to get $50 off of your proxy fees. You have heard us talk about Rhythm before? Well, Rhythm's back with our power trends. They're now called Smart Signals. Rhythm continues to crush it with Smart Signals, especially the best of what their house model has to offer. Their AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line of probability hit a certain range. Smart Signals are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just data-backed bets. MLB Smart Signals are crushing it. Mike Trout and Giancarlo Stanton are a combined 14-0 on Smart Signals, recommending their unders. Woof. WNBA Smart Signals since the All-Star break. How about 27-16 on Smart Signals with a 23.36 ROI? They're absolutely cooking. Download the Rhythm app. Check out Smart Signals and start betting smarter. You know that we are going to be. How about a smart signal for the WNBA? How about, let's see, let's talk about, how about Satao Sabalai? Whew. I don't watch the WNBA. Fever versus Mercury. They are predicting 3.2 three-pointers for this young lady, and the current game prop is 1.5, so I guess that means you're going to have to take the over on that one. Go find out for yourself over there at Rhythm, and get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's what happens when you try to cook on the fly, my friend. Sometimes you break a couple of eggs.
Hey, you're still a pro, and you are great at it, Rod. Shout out to Charles over in the chat. Says, what's up, guys? Let's all cash again this weekend. That is the plan. And a guy that might be able to help us cash, Rod, Sammy Smith, top 5, 7-1. I'm going to go back to the Sammy Smith. Well, it almost worked out for us last week. It didn't work out for us last week, unfortunately. They played the strategy, took the shot. Strategy worked on Sunday, did not work on Saturday, unfortunately. But that's okay. That's how it goes. But I do like Sammy Smith. He's been a solid guy on the road courses. You get his top 5 at 7-1. Now, it's a loaded field, yes, but he's still also a guy coming down into this series from a higher series, of course, an Xfinity Series regular. And he's been pretty solid on the road courses in the Xfinity Series. 9th place at Sonoma and Xfinity. That's a great run. He was 11th place at Coda as well. So a good run there. Chicago, if you want to use it, he finished 7th place in that one. So 3 for 3 strong finishes this season in the Xfinity Series on the road courses. If you go back and you look last year, he 10th at the Charlotte road course, 19th here. So you would have liked to see something a little bit better than that, right? But 13th at Chicago, so had a good run there. Tough days at both Sonoma and Coda. But he's been, I was going to go back to one of his very first career start at Road America. He was with JGR at the time. Came out, he was tearing it up. I think he was 2nd place when his car blew up. Ends up with a bad finish, but he jumped onto the scene and was impressive. Then he went to Watkins Glen, finished in 3rd. Why you would ever leave JGR after great runs like this, Rod, I don't know. But Sammy Smith is a good road course racer. Top 5 at 7-1 for him to sneak in there when he's consistently been able to get in the top 10 in Xfinity and be near that top 5 mark. Right now, you move down a series. Of course, there is a lot of guys in this, but to expect this to be Zilisch and Bell and Buscher and Chastain and all these guys, Bush, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen, right? We've seen this plenty of times. Somebody's going to have issues. Somebody's going to struggle, and guys are just going to beat other guys. I think Sammy Smith is a solid road course guy. He's in actually the better Spire truck in most people's opinion. He's in the 7 instead of the 07. So he beats out Kyle Busch for that ride. But yeah, give me Sammy Smith top 5 at 7-1.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad, especially like you said, a lot of these Cup guys, they do it every time. Every time they come down, they give you such great odds on some of these guys that can sneak up and actually get this done because you forget that they've done it before.
Yeah. And it just pushes down everybody else's odds, right? It's the books are looking at it and they're like, well, fuck, we got Zilisch in this race, we got Buescher in this race, we got Bell in this race, we got Chastain in this race, we got Busch in this race, and so guys like Sammy just fall down the pecking order, even though he's in a quote-unquote all-star truck that is a solid truck and has delivered results for most of the season with different people in it. And you put in that he's a solid road course guy. Hopefully he just goes out there, keeps it clean, and is challenging for a top 5 late, right? And maybe it's the second or third overtime, and he gets around the wreck as they wreck in front of him. I don't care. It's just put yourself in position, and I think he's a guy who can do that.
Well, somebody else I think that can do that. I know that you said that he wasn't a headliner on a road course. I understand that, but it's Ben Rhodes. He is 8-1 over on Bet365 for a top 5 finish. If you can't get that there, he's 6-1 on Caesars, and I'm sure there's probably a couple other spots that I didn't get to check because they just barely posted. But Ben Rhodes top 5. I mean, here's the thing. Ben Rhodes is one of the only truck drivers that actually has a start on this track. In 2021, Ben Rhodes started 5th, ended up finishing 15th. I know that's not the greatest of finishes for Ben Rhodes, but how about a road course this season? Lime Rock. I know. I just got done saying that I don't necessarily consider that the roadiest of road courses. However, he did start 19th and had a 4th place finish in that particular race. How about Mid-Ohio? Mid-Ohio is a place they went for a very long time. A 5th place finish for Ben Rhodes in 2023. Sonoma, probably the one track that wasn't that good for him. He finished 18th after starting 17th. But Coda, a 7th place finish in 2024, a 4th place finish in 2022. A couple of top 10s kind of bookend those runs. And then how about Bowmansville? Right? Bowmansville, a Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. He ran this back in 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016. A 3rd place finish in the last race in Bowmansville. Right? You like that. So not a terrible road course racer is Ben Rhodes. Now, this season has not been the greatest of all seasons for Ben Rhodes. 14th place average finish. His starting position is 14th place as well. Only 6 top 10s and 16 starts. 4 top 5s. But like I said, one of those did come at our only true road course of the season at Lime Rock. So I'm taking that away from there. And then a couple of good short track finishes, right? Talk about beating, banging, being in close quarters with guys, especially in these restarts. A 5th place at Martinsville, a 5th place at Bristol earlier in the season. I'm only jumping on this because, again, the number is far, far too long, especially at 8-1 if you can get that at 365 for Ben Rhodes, who, you know, is arguably still one of the better drivers in the truck series, even though he's fallen on hard times. You know he's going to pop up when he needs to, Cody. That's his MO.
It is, and he's got 2 top 5s in the last 4 races. So that alone, does make you think, hey, it's Ben Rhodes, and he does Ben Rhodes types of things. So don't mind this. He is a road course winner before. I don't know if I didn't hear if you mentioned it in your thing because I got distracted by some breaking news here, but he did win at the Daytona road course a couple of years ago. So, he's proven to be a solid road course guy in general.
News you say, Cody? Breaking news?
Breaking news. Yes. Great news. The update everyone has been waiting for. We are thrilled to be reunited at home as Stuart Friesen has been released from the hospital. It's been a long 9 days for our family. Stuart continues to be in pain as he recovers, but we're very happy to have him at home and recoup before we start the physical therapy process. Thankful to everybody, blah, blah, blah. The procedures he had were to reconstruct his shattered pelvis and right leg tibia and fibula. It went smoothly. He has some extra plates, screws, rods, and pins as well as a fractured C7 and fractured left hip. But we're thankful to finally be on the other side of these injuries and on the road to recovery. So yeah, that's great news. Good timing for the Friesens releasing that news as we're talking about the truck series. But of course, that's when you realize that racing doesn't matter as much as just being healthy, being home. So absolutely love to see that for Mr. Friesen.
Does he have to pass NASCAR inspection though, with all of those rods and pins and all of that stuff now? Do they have to approve the parts before he gets them?
Who knows? Hopefully they did. They did, because you'd hate to have to go back and take those out, Rod.
The pelvic spacer was a 16th of an inch off. They're going to need to go back and redo that and drop to the rear of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. But
all right, Cody, who's not dropping to the rear
so
of the field?
Really good news to see him back at home. So, all right, Rod, Parker Kligerman, he's back. He's once again in the Truck Series, which we love to see, making another start here. And I love Parker Kligerman. I bet on Parker Kligerman just about every chance I get to bet on him. So if you go back and you look, he did start a COTA in 2023. Unfortunately, did not finish that race. But let's see, Mid-Ohio 2022. That's the race I was looking for. 56 laps he led in this 75 truck, door to door, side by side, by the Corey Heim of the time, which was Zane Smith, of course, in that 38 truck. Beat him to the line in an epic duel, wins that race. That is what Parker Kligerman is capable of doing, and I don't need him to win this race. By the way, 5th place here in 2021 at Watkins Glen, 13th place at COTA in 2021. So he's been pretty solid over the years on road courses. Top 5 is 8-1, Rod. Sign me up for Mr. Parker Kligerman, who, again, he's retired from the full-time driving now, doing a lot more of the TV stuff. The starts are fewer and farther in between. And when they get the chance, they put together a good program. They show up ready to go. And I think that's going to be the case again this week. Kligerman is a guy who will mind his P's and Q's. He'll stick around, be there at the end with a shot to cash this. So give me Kligerman top 5 at 8-1.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, Parker Kligerman, he's one of those guys. And I think you saw him. You may have seen him in person in Kansas. But boy, that guy just beams electricity anytime you're around him. I absolutely love him.
He's absolutely loves him. Jess says she feels bad for when he has to go through airport security. Luckily, Rod, I've got a few plates and screws in me. All that stuff is titanium and does not go off at security. So generally not an issue. And then, Charles asking, looks like Charles got the 25-1 top 3 on Hard Rock last night and this morning. Maybe Charles is over in the Discord and saw it over there. But I do know that quite a few people in there got in on that as well.
Absolutely love it. See, this is why you've got to be in there, because you just jump on stuff like that when people pass it on. But all right. I did not wake up this morning and think ThorSport was going to be the top of my list for this particular race, but here we are. And it's only because their numbers are so big now that it feels like you have to take a dabble on them, especially Ty Majeski. His top 5 number on Caesars is at 4-1. Look, Ty Majeski was the runner-up this last time at Lime Rock. So already, and he started 4th too. So he had speed from qualifying to the finish, right? So he was a runner-up over there at Lime Rock, finished second to who everybody's finished second to all season long, and Corey Heim. So there's no shame in that, right? But yeah, for Ty Majeski, this wasn't just a one-off. Ty Majeski, pretty damn good on road courses overall when it comes to the Truck Series. Sonoma, he made a start in 2022, started 4th, only finished 3rd in that race. How disappointing is that? Mid-Ohio, the last time he was out on that track, led 17 laps in 2023 after starting on the outside pole. Unfortunately, did not get a top 5. He did get a 7th place finish. And then you look at COTA, back-to-back 3rd place finishes for him in 2023 and 2024. And here's the thing, right? He started 3rd and 9th, but he led a couple of laps in that one. In 2022, he was in the 66 truck, and now it's kind of threw off his average. But like I said, back-to-back 3rd place finishes at COTA for Ty Majeski there. And then the Daytona road course, his truck overheated. He finished 32nd, so you can't blame that on him. How's he been lately? How about a 9th place at Pocono, 2nd at Lime Rock, and 5th at IRP after starting in the outside pole? Yeah, he's only got 4 top 5 finishes and 16 starts, but boy, we talked about how pianos were just falling from the sky earlier in the season, especially at Bristol and Rockingham, where he finished 33rd and 31st. Like, there were lighter pianos that were falling on him. Texas and Kansas, 10th and 14th. He barely missed a Casio keyboard in North Wilkesboro and finished 6th, only to have the grand piano fall on him in Charlotte with 32nd. Bounced back for an 8th place in Nashville. Again, it is Ty Majeski. We talked about him a couple of weeks ago. You had brought him up quite a few times about how he would be good, and I don't think that's gone away. And when we talk about Ty Majeski's, Ben Rhodes, these guys, they don't fear when the Cup Series guys or the Xfinity Series guys come down, right? And for Ty Majeski at 4-1, all it takes is for some shenanigans at the front of the field to take out Zilisch, to take out Heim or somebody like that, and he's going to be right around the top 5 all day long. So, maybe he's in 7th place and a couple of trucks take themselves out, whatever. But, this is how Ty Majeski at 4-1 gets a top 5, or he just runs it right out. It's not out of the question. So I like Majeski 4-1 for a top 5.
Yeah, I actually really like this bet. I'm going to talk against him sort of in this group that I'm about to give out, but he's been really strong at the last couple of road courses we've been to. So I think you play that, and you can play this one as well. I'm going to take Sammy Smith, Group B winner, over on Bet365. The reason I'm taking him, I already kind of made the case for his top 5. I think he's going to be a solid truck and just have a good day. But he's plus 475. He's the longest shot in this group. That's all against truck regulars, which is interesting. He's, of course, the Xfinity guy coming down in the all-star truck, right? But you're getting him against Chandler Smith. You're getting him against Ty Majeski. And you're getting him against Lane Riggs. This is actually a pretty tough group because Lane Riggs I'm actually not worried about. I know you made a case for him earlier in that head-to-head, but 13th at Lime Rock, 27th at Dakota. Those are his 2 road course starts. He's a talented driver. Maybe he figures it out fine, but we haven't seen it until we do. It's hard to look at. Chandler Smith, he's been good. He's been top 6 in his last 3 truck starts on road courses. And Majeski, you just made the case for, right? Top 7, I think, in the last 4 road course starts that he's made. So it is a tough group, but I think that Sammy Smith, a guy who can hang out, be there towards the end, and I think is going to be top 5, top 10 range at the end of the day. You're going to have plus 475 to just beat 3 guys. If we already count Riggs out because I don't think he's going to be as good, then you get just against 2 other guys, right? Something pianos never fall on Ty Majeski, right? And then he just beats Chandler Smith suddenly. Now you've got him at plus 475 to beat these guys. So give me Sammy Smith, Group B, plus 475 over on Bet365.
Yeah, and this is one where Sammy Smith can finish, 3rd or 2nd and win this group, or he could finish 10th and win this group. I 100% agree that there's a huge range of outcomes in this instance. But, this is a great way to hedge and a great way to plus 475 is such a huge number to just take a chance on this one and have everybody else kind of junk out, which is kind of where I'm going with my next bet. Okay, I just told you that Christopher Bell, or no, actually, I took that off. I told you Riggs was going to finish better than Chastain. Well, if Riggs wins this race and Ross Chastain finishes in the top 3, we're all eating steak, kids, because I'm taking Ross Chastain as a top 3 truck at plus 350. And here's the thing, right, Cody? We say this all the time. If you take something like this, a Ross Chastain at plus 350, and your Riggs over Chastain doesn't hit, then you're not feeling so bad because Chastain had to hit the top 3 and beat Lane Riggs, and you're okay with that. So plus 350 for him. Ross Chastain, not bad in road course races at the in the Truck Series. 4th place finish in Sonoma in 2022. A couple of top 10 finishes at Bowmansville, right? We talked about that being the road course of choice in Canada. 7th and 8th for him in the 19 Keselowski truck in 2013, and then that 45 Nice truck in 2019. Coda, couple of top 5 finishes for him there in the 41 and the 45, both, by the way, Nice trucks. But yeah, 2023, he finished 5th after starting on the pole. 2024, he finished 5th after starting in 5th. And then in the Truck Series this year, like I had told you earlier, a 2nd place finish at Charlotte, 6th at Homestead, 9th at IRP. Obviously has not made a road course start yet for Ross Chastain, but I can still cash the Riggs over Chastain if Riggs is a top 5 truck. I didn't like his number overall, but Chastain is a top 3 truck. If Riggs comes in 2nd, 1st, Chastain comes in 3rd, that's fine. If Riggs doesn't come in anywhere near the top 5, but Ross Chastain finishes in top 3, I'm okay. I'm happy. I still like what I've got going on. So this wasn't a knock on Chastain's overall talent. It was just I thought Riggs is going to do a little bit better, and I still think Chastain's going to do very well for himself this weekend.
Oof. That's a take, Rod.
It is.
That's a take.
It is. Hey, look, and I'm feeling pretty good lately. All right, I've been feeling like things have been okay.
Hey, things have been going really well for you, so hard to argue too much against it. I don't know. In this loaded of a field, I don't think the number's big enough for Chastain. I don't think he's going to be. We just haven't seen it. He's not had the mojo lately, and it's a Nice truck. Like, yeah, they're decent trucks, but probably a reason Caden Honeycutt's jumping ship and going to Toyota, right? I don't know. It's tough.
It is, but we'll have fun doing it. All right, well then, somebody's got to win this race, Cody. Who do we think it's going to be, other than Corey Heim and Connor Zilisch?
Somebody does have to win this race, Rod. Connor Zilisch is the heavy favorite, right? He is the big favorite in this race, and probably should be. He's minus 125. That's hefty. So he has one career Truck Series start. He's only got 6 truck starts, I guess, to his name. Only one time has he finished better than 12th place in the trucks. I'll throw that out there. Now, that was at COTA last year, where he started on the pole really fast, looked really good, sends it into turn 1, goes off the track, fights all the way back, finishes in 4th place. It was impressive. Yes, he's obviously gone toe-to-toe with SVG this year, looks great in the Xfinity Series, all that. So not saying he's not going to win, right? I'm just saying at minus 125, neither of us are on him. We'll take the chalk where we need to sometimes, and we did it with SVG yesterday. I don't think you do it with Zilisch in this one. I think that with this many people in this room, in this race, it's hard to bet him at that number. So I'm going to take 2 of the Cup guys that I really like, and I'm just going to roll with them. They're both shorter odds, and just call it a day with that. Kyle fucking Busch, the GOAT of the Truck Series, Rod, the best truck racer there ever was. I'm going to take him at 6-1. Look, I love Kyle Busch coming back down into the truck race, into the Truck Series, where he's been extremely good. He's already got a win this season in the trucks, of course, back at Atlanta. He did not run at Lime Rock, but when he has come down into the Truck Series, he is always one of the best out there, if not the best. We know that the Spire truck is a good truck. He came out to COTA a couple of years ago. 2023 was his last truck start. Ends up finishing second to Zane Smith in that one. Zane Smith, again, was absolutely amazing in the truck race, in the Truck Series, rather. He had another start in COTA in 2022, where he finished in 3rd. 2022 as well in Sonoma, led 45 laps, picked up a win. And that truck hasn't been fast this year. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, the 07 truck, but I personally saw that 07 truck be really fast in Kansas and win the race with Carson Hocevar driving it. So I don't know that I would say the truck hasn't been fast all year. It's had some problems, right, and had not some great races. But the Spire trucks are fine. They're going to be fast. And Kyle Busch makes up all the difference at 6-1. I think you just don't overthink it. I think you take him. And then Christopher Bell is 7-1 to win this race. Talked about him for the top 5 earlier. He's been in the top 5 in all 3 Cup races on road courses so far this year. And you're getting him at 7-1 as a very talented, very good Cup guy coming into this. That's why I'm trying not to overthink it. Zilisch is an amazing talent. I won't be surprised if he comes out a win, but a minus 125, oof, it's tough. And you're going to put him up against Christopher Bell. You're going to put him up against Kyle Busch at 6 and 7-1. I'd rather have those guys, and I'm going to run with that. So give me Kyle Busch at 6-1 and Christopher Bell at 7-1.
Yeah, and I had a lot of the same thought processes when I was going through, because obviously Zilisch, he's a force to be reckoned with in the Xfinity Series. There's just no doubt about it. Obviously, this week in the Cup Series as well, he's being heavily touted and heavily favored in his battle with SVG. But to me, there's a subtle difference here, right? When SVG comes down and races Xfinity, the talent gap is huge because the experience gap is huge. With Connor Zilisch coming down into the Truck Series, he's got a lot of experience. Yeah, he's definitely had a lot of success, but there's not that gigantic chasm of a wealth of experience between the truck drivers and Connor Zilisch. Their talent, absolute talent. And if you're going to bet him to win at 125, minus 125, that's fine. We're not telling you, that's not a good bet. It's just not a bet that in my opinion, there's too much that could go wrong. That's not like saying SVG at plus 160 is the lock of all locks, because we've seen it a ton of times. We haven't seen this in the Truck Series with Connor Zilisch yet. So I pumped the brakes on him because I saw that Corey Heim, the probably hottest truck in the series right now, is at 4-1 to win this race. And it's because guys like Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Christopher Buescher, Ross Chastain, Connor Zilisch are all in this field. But lest we forget, Corey Heim's gone toe-to-toe with every single one of them, and he's come out on top several times over. 5 wins this season for Corey Heim. 10 top 5 finishes, not just top 10 finishes, top 5 finishes in 16 starts. 12 top 10 finishes. The only times he's finished worse than a top 10 finish was in Michigan when he finished 18th, North Wilkesboro when he finished 17th, Atlanta when he finished 23rd. We like to joke and say that Corey Heim has bad luck and whatever, but I tell you what, there's a lot of drivers out in that field that would love to have the bad luck that Corey Heim has, having an average finish of 7th place this season. And oh, by the way, started on the pole and won the only road course race that we've ran this season. How good has he been on road courses in the Truck Series outside of Lime Rock? How about a first place finish after starting on the pole at his last Mid-Ohio start in, you guessed it, the 11 truck. Watkins Glen, not a good track for him historically. He's got 1 start. He finished 18th in the 51 Kyle Busch truck. But Coda, a win after leading 31 laps in 2024, starting on the outside pole. Even a 6th place finish in that 11 truck in 2023. Overall, in road courses, he's got 6 starts, 3 wins, 3 top 5s, and 4 top 10 finishes. It's always Heim time until time is up. But in this instance, 4-1 for the guy that just won the last road course race is not scared by anybody in the field and will wheel that truck to the best of his ability every single lap after lap after lap. Like I can't deny that one. Like this is not saying like when Corey Heim is at plus 260 to win or plus 200 to win, right? This is a Corey Heim at 4-1 to win a road course that he's done a few times in his career. So I like the price. I like the driver. Give me Corey Heim 4-1 to win this race.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with it. He's been really good, obviously, in the Truck Series, obviously in general, but also on the road courses. So not going to argue too much. And Full Tank with Phil checking in. Shout out to Phil.
What's
we
up,
need to
Phil?
have Phil on to talk some trucks again. I know he's been doing the truck thing on his YouTube, but we need to chop it up and talk trucks again soon. So let's get that figured out. But yeah, like you said, one mistake from CZ and all the others are in play, just like Coda last year. And then going back to Hunter's 07 comments. So I was wrong. Hocevar was in the 7 at the Kansas race, but William Byron finished 2nd in the 07 truck. So it's had its good races. And if you look back, it's had guys like Thomas Annunziata, BJ McLeod, Justin, I almost said his name, the driver of the number 7 in the Cup Series, have been driving that car. But Kyle Larson won with it at Homestead. William Byron finished 2nd at Kansas. Kyle Larson finished 2nd at Bristol. So, yes, overall, maybe the speed hasn't always been there. But when it's had really good drivers, it's had the speed. And Kyle Busch can make up that speed on the road course. So I'm not overly worried about that. And you've even joked all year, like, oh, it's the worst truck. I think I said it earlier when I said Sammy Smith got the 7, right? Oh, he got the better of the trucks. But even that being said, it's Kyle Busch in the trucks. I'm not too worried about it.
Indeed. Just talking about Group B, Hemrick, Kilterman, Ankrum, Enfinger, and they're all plus 250.
Kilterman, who's that?
I love when you're trying to text people and autocorrect just absolutely tears your text apart. But Group B is Hemrick, Kligerman, Ankrum, Enfinger. They're all plus 250. So, Jess?
That's a tough group.
I feel like I like Enfinger.
Yeah, I think Enfinger's the one I would go with. I like Kligerman as longer shot stuff, but Enfinger, as I kind of mentioned earlier, has been super consistent in the Truck Series on road courses and lately, so I would take him in that group.
Yep, I agree with you on that one. All right, get out your pen and paper. Sorry, because we shifted gears so quickly, there's no graphic for this one. You'll just have to do it old school today. Get out your pen and paper. Time to go over our bets for this Mission 176 at the Glen. Cody started you off with that aforementioned Grant Enfinger over Tyler Ankrum. At minus 115 over on Caesars, I said Christopher Bell would finish better than Christopher Busch at minus 120. And then Cody said Christopher Bell would be a top 5 car, furthering my point because I don't know that Chris Buescher would be a top 5 truck at the end of it at plus 100. I said Ross Chastain would finish better. This says Riggs. I can read, kids. Riggs over Ross Chastain. Lane Riggs over Ross Chastain. Plus 160 over on Bet365. I need a new prescription, by the way, guys. So if you want to set up, my Venmo is there, and I'm taking donations to get my eyes checked. Cody gave you Sammy Smith at 7-1 to be a top 5 truck. I said the good old Ben Rhodes would be a top 5 truck at 8-1 over on 365 or 6-1 on Caesars, depending on where you get it. Parker Kligerman for Cody for a top 5 truck at 8-1. I said Ty Majeski would be a top 5 truck at 4-1 over on Caesars. Cody gave you Sammy Smith to win Group B over on 365 at plus 475 over the likes of Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski, and Lane Riggs. I said the only way that I'd be happy with a Ross Chastain beating Lane Riggs would be as if he was a top 3 truck at plus 350. Cody said Kyle Busch at 6-1 or Christopher Bell at 71 would win 7-1, by the way. I know that sounded like 71. And I said Corey Heim 4-1 to win this race. Trucks are back, baby.
Trucks are back, Rod. If Kyle Busch wins this race, we will officially reinstate the F, and he will once again be Kyle fucking Busch on a full-time basis.
Yes, he will, and we will all rejoice when Kyle Busch comes back and brings his F to the track with him. So
that's right.
All right, well, tomorrow, Cody, we will break down the Xfinity Series just like we did with the truck. See, this is why I'm glad that we broke them out, right?
Did you just look at the clock, an hour 6?
Yeah.
Just the trucks alone? Yeah, probably a good thing that we broke them up, huh?
Do you miss this? I miss this.
I do miss this.
I miss this.
It was absolutely beautiful. So, and we're going to do it again next week because Xfinity's off. So Trucks will have its full own dedicated show there at Richmond, which Richmond's had some pretty good truck races over the last couple of years. So I'll be very excited for that. But let's go make some money this week at Watkins Glen first. Thanks to everybody for joining us. We appreciate you all. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some Xfinity Series talk. In the meantime, Rod, follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff over there. Racing stuff, lots and lots of racing stuff. PLL stuff if you're into some lacrosse. Hall of Fame game was a couple weeks ago, but had stuff for that. And preseason NFL, got more stuff for that coming out. Lots and lots of stuff. Check me out there, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you're checking out that DGens only play of the day. Didn't hit today. Unfortunately, Israel and Slovenia could not exceed 130.5 points in their volleyball match. They came close, though. It was like 126 or something like that. So we'll get them again tomorrow. But check it out. It's out there on sportsgamblingpodcast.com. DGens only play of the day. And then, of course, check me out on the back road tonight. We're actually going live tonight on Wednesday night, or if you're listening tomorrow, then it's already out on their In Between Media YouTube channel. Check us out there as we break down Watkins Glen. Love you all. Hope you enjoyed the entire Truck Series episode. We'll do this again tomorrow for Xfinity. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.